So tell me, Pete, do you exercise?
Of course, every morning.
What do you do?
Well, I like to get up early. I'll cycle to a great sunset spot in Ibiza.
So you live in Ibiza?
And I'll get there to maybe do a very short meditation, and then I'll do about an hour of yoga, followed by about half an hour of meditation.
What happens to you when you don't exercise?
Well, when I don't exercise, I get very negative.
You get very negative? You'd say it changes your mindset?
Yeah, absolutely.
Are you someone that's prone to depression?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Me too.
That's one reason.
If I don't take care of this stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That's one reason I moved to Ibiza. I was in a very dark place 2 years ago. If I hadn't moved to Ibiza 2 years ago, we wouldn't be having this conversation right now, mate.
What, you'd have got off the
Yeah, I was suicidal. You know, I just wanted to put a belt up and, you know, finish it, you know.
Really? You got that close?
Oh, yeah, because I hadn't really started meditating until just after that period. I mean, I've DJ'd for about 12 years now, but I thought I had my dream job. I started to work for a big brand, and I was playing music that I wasn't really, really into.
Right.
To keep the venue happy. And one day you think, why am I doing this?
So what brought you out of the suicidal thought pattern?
I moved to Ibiza. If I don't get out and cycle every morning, like 5 miles, I just feel rubbish. I just don't have the extra energy to do the day.
Exercise flexes the I'm good enough muscle, you know, from a confidence point of view. And even if you don't look any different, which of course you do. Today's show is brought to us by the letter E. We're talking about exercise and ego management. So do you have an exercise routine?
I do yoga quite a lot. I find that quite helpful. Just physically, and then also just helps me calm down. So
take a meditation.
Yeah, swimming. I've picked up swimming recently.
What happens to you when you don't exercise, if you skip it for a week or something?
I'm more lethargic, but as well I think it kind of sets the tone for other things. So because I slack on the exercise, I'm going to probably slack on the admin tasks that I need to do.
We're also talking about ego management. And I was wondering how you know, when you have that inner chimp, that doubting voice that's telling you you're not good enough, or that someone is trying to do you harm.
Yeah.
How do you manage that?
Yeah, that's a good question. If it's to do with, you know, someone being involved thinking that, you know, they meant me wrong or they really dislike me or something, I just try to tell myself it's not the case. You know, you train your brain to...
It's about training.
Exactly, feed it good things. And, you know, we've just talked about exercising our body, like how do you exercise your mind? And with exercising your body, you eat well, you go to the gym. With exercising your brain, you probably should have good thoughts about yourself and not think that everyone is out to get you. Things are in our head, you know. So it's
of course, it's stories you've created, yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, and if you don't exercise, those stories seem to pop in more regularly. Exercise and ego management is really entwined.
There's a correlation.
The ego is your amigo, and you need to make friends with it. Dr. Steve Peters, in his book The Chimp Paradox, describes the ego as the chimp. The ego wants to win at all costs. You need to manage it. How do you recognize the chimp? The chimp creates its own little software programs throughout your life, little pre-learned behaviors. The I'm stressed program, I'm anxious program. But here's the news, you don't have to run the program. You can rewire your brain. A Buddhist teacher was asked to describe Buddhism in one word, and he said awareness. Just be aware. Be aware of your chimp bubbling away. The more that you indulge in these negative thoughts that your chimp creates, you're building synaptic pathways. You'll run these programs more easily the more you indulge in them. Observe these negative thoughts, but don't attach a storyline to them. Meditation helps with this.
Happy science! So today's episode, we're going to talk about the ego, the chimp. It gets a bit of a bad rap at the moment, and actually if we were to reframe that in terms of the narrative self, the stories we tell ourselves, it gives us a much more positive experience. and allows for a more constructive use of the word ego. So let's say we have a scary meeting or an uncomfortable conversation with our friends and family coming up. That's an event. Time goes towards the event, and we start to think of the event much more, so our frequency of thought increases, and it exceeds our thought of the mundanity of the everyday. The problem is that most of the time, we have negative thoughts around that. Our ego, our chimp, gets in the way and starts saying, I'm not going to be good enough, this is going to be difficult, it's really scary. Whereas in this moment, as we're walking towards the event, as time is passing, if we were to have a different conversation with ourselves, I'm going to be great, I'm going to be present, I'm going to have fun. The event itself then becomes enjoyable. Then, after the event, as time goes by, we need to reinforce that, and that then gives us a much more positive outlook and a constructive ego talk. And that is happy science.
One sport with feeding. Mav,
Dan,
what do you want to do?
what do you mean what I want to do?
What do you want to do?
What do I want to do? Get out of the way of my ego and allow something to work through me, something that's bigger than me, an intelligence that's more intelligent than me. The first step, I guess, would be to make sure that my vessel, my body, is in as pure and as strong of a state as it possibly can be. And obviously, and the same goes for my mind. So for my body, I would probably finally start to exercise.
Do you exercise now?
You know, it's probably haven't worked out properly in maybe 2 years.
2 years?
2 years. It's the first thing that you drop when really it's the one that you need the most.
So you want to learn how to further let go of your ego. And
Yes.
you believe that if you had a ready exercise routine that you stuck to, that would help you let go of your ego.
You know, the endorphin release on a daily basis, it would be meditation. You know, when you're not centered, you let the chip make decisions for you.
How are you going to advance this goal on a daily basis?
I'm gonna get a yoga mat and just 20 minutes. My goal is to start from home and then see if I can make it to the gym.
Do you think it would be helpful to you if you did this at the same time every day?
I do think that would be very helpful, but I do also, know that we live in a world that is a bit spontaneous.
How do you think you might be able to make yourself accountable to exercise every day? If you set yourself a meeting once a week, say on a Tuesday at 7 p.m. for half an hour, and you use that half an hour to reflect back on what exercise you've done that week, do you think that might be helpful, a weekly meeting with yourself?
I think maybe if you could give me like a call every morning.
FaceTime, and I want to see you exercising basically in your gym kit
Evidence,
every morning.
instance.
9 a.m. tomorrow morning, I'm going to call you.
Done.
Instatool, the turnaround. You've got an event coming up, might be the dentist, might be a lunch with people you're not that sure about, maybe some work colleagues, and you say to yourself, I'm not looking forward to that. You start a little negative thought pattern, a little story that you've created, suffering for yourself. Is it really true that you're not going to enjoy yourself? You may well not enjoy the thing that's going to happen in the future, but now you're worrying about it in the present as well. You've let the bad thing win twice. How would it be if you forgot about the thing in the future, put it in your diary, and instead were present? Because thinking about that thing in the future doesn't serve you. The turnaround, turn it around. How would you feel if you were being present? Pretty great. You see, it's a little bit like pool. If you want to play really good pool, you have to be present to the moment. You have to forget the bad shot you played before, and you have to be truly present on the shot to make it. And the more you play positively, the more you think positively, the more positive things happen on the table. Just like life. Oh, Mr. Dan Man, bring me a dream, boom, 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 make her the cutest that I've ever seen. Please turn on your magic beam, and Mr. Dan Man, bring me a dream.